Come with me a minute. I'll read to you a little. This is from a book, Divine Interventions. Dan Millman and Doug Childers. Okay. Page 247. A Sleeping Gift Awakens. Edgar was born in 1877 on a Kentucky farm to devout but uneducated parents. He himself would not pass beyond the 9th grade. A quiet, deeply religious boy, he was also a bit otherworldly until he was 9 years old. Little folk that only he and his friend Anna could see came out of the woods to play with them. One little fellow once told them, "We live in the flowers and the music." "What music?" Anna had asked. "The music of everything," the little fellow replied. Anna died that winter. In the spring, a lonely Edgar looked for her in the flowers with the little folk, but he never found her. Well, for a minute reading this, I was absolutely, how tragic, how awful, how sad, how etc., etc. And then I got my balance back, so to speak. Why am I so moved? It was a body reaction to the loss, and I felt the loneliness and the tragedy of it. There's no tragedy, Marshall. You die, you go to a better place. Well, I mean, normally, assuming you're going in the right direction, and this little soul, Anna, she was sensitive to, well, you could say away with the fereez, but I had every good reason to believe she would go, in simple terms, to heaven, to the next better life, perhaps if you're in Eastern terms. Why the sadness? Why the distress, Marshall? What tragedy? Do you see? The mistake is mine. It's not that God is making a tragedy. It's that I, in my ignorance, not trusting in the loveliness of God, am making a tragedy of it. Who is at fault? Me or God? Well, I'm going to say me, and I'm going to say, well, what do you expect? Kids are like that. But there's no need, love. You're going to trust that God takes us to heaven, takes us to goodness. He loves us. He's a loving, caring, beautiful God, all-powerful and well able to look after his children, you and me. You're not going to make a tragedy out of this classroom here. We are in the world of make-believe. We see this transitory as some terrible, endless tragedy. It's not. It's a transitory experience, a teaching, a viewing, a film. There's no point in you crying out your eyes and heart because you're watching a film about some tragedy. That's ridiculous. It's make-believe. It's not permanent. It's to show us and teach us that we may learn to choose the good and avoid the evil for eternity, that we be forever blessed in eternity, forever in beautiful place, the family of God, the host of heaven. So, learn the lesson. This is the lesson. Don't make a tragedy out of life through your lack of faith on the contrary, thank God for the difficulties and think, in this case, for instance, Marshall should think, thank you, God, for this revelation. That the tragedy is my lack of trust in you. If I had full trust in you, I would say, oh, yes, she went to be with God, went to be with the angels. Perhaps they were sorting out the next stage of her development. Or perhaps she was graduated. She is right for heaven now, permanently. How wonderful. Do you see? Bless you. Thank you, Dad. But it occurs to me, well, he was on his own, wasn't he? I mean, he'd lost his friend as well. Or anyway, he'd lost his friend, even if she went to heaven. Yes. But he's not alone. You're thinking of him as being alone, Marshall. He has God, always with him. And by the look of it, this story is going to be about how he's had a wondrously spiritual life following. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I may have done a long time ago, but I've forgotten. And, of course, he's already in contact with these little people, spirit people, fairies, whatever they are, I don't know. He's not alone. Do you see? Again, you're making a tragedy out of it, where no tragedy is. He's not going to be alone in life. He can live in the reality of loving God, having God dwelling in him. And he's got these fairy folk friends already. Do you see? Besides, God's going to have a life planned out for him here, which is to his blessing, of course. What else would God do? An all-powerful God that loves him. Be reasonable. You're spinning tragedies where they don't exist. You're living in a fantasy world, Marshall. Get out of it. Trust in your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. More so than you have to date. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Oh, well, I've read the rest of the chapter now, and it's very short. It's about 8 pages, I suppose. And I won't read it to you because, well, it'd spoil it, wouldn't it? I wonder if I'm allowed to read it to you. It's only a very small part of the book, a few pages compared to 300 pages of the book, I think, something like that. But, yes. Well, anyway, the book is called Divine Interventions, and it's a best-selling author, Dan Millman and Doug Childers. Could be Childers, couldn't it? Childers. I don't know about the rest of the book. I have read it in the past and knew it was good. That's why I hung on to it. Don't hang on to many books, but I knew this one was inspiring. And you may be blessed by tracking it down. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.